I'm just gonna start with the obvious question because we all sort of online here. I just want to say COVID has just kicked the streaming thing into the future. It was already going that way. This was the conversation we were having, and simultaneous digital and cinema release is what's going to happen from now on. There is a hope that cinemas will continue to exist, but I just meet people all the time who are buying home projectors. We bought one ourselves here. So what do you think about the future of cinema? So I'll start from the other way. Sanasi? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I really believe that people, I mean, the audience always love to go and to the how it's this, the cinema. I'm not sure if there is a good translation in English. Anyway, to this dark room that is projecting the films, and I believe that this feeling and this need will never die, but I am, especially in Greece right now, that I feel that the cinema is in crisis. So I don't know how positive can I be.
Okay, thank you. Konstantina?
Well, I think, I mean, from my experience, the theater in a way has been, has not been, obviously it's very different from what it was in the 50s, obviously. And I don't know, the past 10 years, I remember just, if you go on a weekday, usually you don't find young people in the theater. It's few people and it's older people, people who used to go to the cinema, and it was a habit. But I think I'm under the impression that at least in Greece, a younger generation is already past it in a way. And I think, you know, I'm under the impression that the theater, seeing a movie in the theater will be, or already is a little bit like going to the theater, going to see like a theatrical, so you dress up a little bit and you, but, and that's fine. I think it's fine because people are really, they keep watching stuff, they watch stuff. It's interesting that movies are in a little bit of a crisis in the sense that TV has really become the main thing that people are interested in, that the bigger audience is interested in. I just want to finish with one thing that I think is irreplaceable, or almost irreplaceable in the theater. And for me, it's not only watching, sharing an experience with other people you don't know, but it's also the idea that you've made the choice, like you've gone out of your apartment, you've gone to a place and you've sat in a chair, and you're watching something and you have to stay there. Or if you really get angry, you go out, and this is a statement in itself. But I really hate this tendency that is natural to occur in platforms where you just watch 2 minutes of something, you're like, I'm not so interested right now. You go to the next one, not so interested, and you just skip and skip and skip. And you don't make a choice, you don't invest in what you want to see, what you want to watch.
Great. Konstantina, what do you think?
It's me.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's funny because during the COVID, I watched the series, the Nick. I don't know if you watch it, but it's it's a series that I mean, I realized that like 100 years before, even the surgical operations were a spectacle, and what the spectacle means today, and if the spectacle is something private nowadays, or is something that you communicate with the others. And I mean, what my thoughts were that that now, like enjoying or experiencing a film has become something much more private and much more personal in a way. And also me, like especially the COVID, I had the chance to watch so many films, and to tell you the truth, I got a bit used to it, and I got a bit used to my laptop also, and I got to use my private home cinema as well. And yeah, and it really made me think about the future of the cinema. And I don't know, I mean, the fact that I'm still like a short filmmaker, that I haven't done like a feature project, I think it makes me have like different feelings for the moment, because I mean, what I felt from sharing my films on online festivals and streaming, I had like a very nice experience, because I had like people from all around the world like writing to me because they had the chance to watch the film, and people, like many people that wouldn't have the chance to watch it, wouldn't have the chance to reach it, I guess. And so I mean, my feelings were quite positive by this, but I keep on thinking that, for example, if I had a feature film and I had the same experience, maybe I had also like different feelings about that. But yeah, I mean, I feel that the short filmmakers, because I mean, mostly you can see short films on festivals, and the audience is like quite precise in these festivals. I think that the streaming helped me to help help me like to have more audience, I guess. But yes, I think it's different from having like a feature film. So yeah, I can't say about cinema in general. I think that that it's something that we all have to think about, the producers as well, and we as filmmakers. I mean, what's why are we doing the films, and what's the audience of our films as well? I don't have the answers. I just have the questions.
True. Thank you. And Nicola, well, how
Yes.
do you feel?
I agree with what they're saying here, that the film is in a crisis right now. Here in Sweden, they produce more material for the television, and bigger television sets are selling in the stores. Film workers, they work all with television right now here. They can't find people because they're producing so much. It's I don't think that cinema is dead, but it's in a big crisis with the pandemic. It's have been more difficult to go to the cinema. They only allowed 50 people here now in the cinemas. But I think some films are made are better to watch in a cinema theater. You can't compare to television. So I don't think it's over yet. I think it will be a turning point in a couple of years again, I think. But right now, it's very difficult for many film workers or film directors and the cinema distributions.
Fimi?
Well, yeah, more or less I echo the sentiments and thoughts of the others. I think we've kind of transferred to a culture and a general kind of thinking of things in a more content-oriented way, in comparison to a more event-oriented way. I mean, it's content that we devour nowadays: series, movies, everything that is so readily available to us. Whereas cinema used to be something that was more of an experience that you felt, and I don't know. We're also always discussing about cinema in terms of cinemas being full and of it working in a commercial base, which I understand. That has always been the main problem of cinema. I think that it costs a lot of money to make, and it used to be. Not so much privately funded. It used to be government funded, much more in earlier years of it, and that meant that no one always expected for a revenue for their money back. So you could have those various voices, and things could work in different ways. I remember in my 20s, being in Athens and going to cinemas and discovering Bellatar and stepping into a cinema and being there with I don't know, other 4 or 5 people that I didn't know, and it could be a fantastic experience. But that's the issue, that we treat this in terms of a viable commercial model. How can cinemas survive, cinema owners survive, etc., etc. Which I understand, but I guess what I'm saying is I would like a completely different thing. I could think of cinema, and I many times think of it comparing it to other forms of art, like a painting, for example. You could go into a church and have a look at the painting and pay no money and get out of it. I wish we could have such opportunities, but it looks like, I don't know, we have led a super hyper oversaturated society of images and no attention span, etc., etc. And yeah, it's a very difficult time, I think. No answers either here.
So yes, I agree with Kostadina. Short films managed and survived COVID. Almost took over because a lot of filmmakers who used to make feature films, they went back to do short films, and one thing I do know, because I worked with Drama Short Film Festival the last few months, is also that the conversation around the film packs cinemas and attracts the audience. So if you do a Q&A, if you bring in experts in the field of the film, people really want to that communal experience of debate and conversation in a public space. So I feel we have to do a lot more of those kinds of live events, or like these events we're doing now. So how do you feel? Tell us your experience about festivals and short film distribution in general. I mean, I'll just let you flow now. I'm not going to go with names. Whoever wants to answer that is free to go. Okay.
What was the question? I didn't.
So the question is your experience as short filmmakers of festivals and distribution.
This year it was very difficult because the most of the festivals were online, so that's quite boring not to meet the audience. I would love to be in Los Angeles right now.
True, me too.
To meet the people and to see the film in a movie theater, or to drama, by the way. So it's a bad year to have a film.
Okay, I will change a little bit. The question is, so you all belong to this golden generation of filmmakers who managed to make films in Greece and abroad. But more importantly, for a few years now, you're among Greek filmmakers who constantly have films in A-list festivals, winning big awards, and get commissions from around the world to do more. Tell me, I mean, I'm really curious to find out why this is happening in a specific place or with a specific people, like with Greek filmmakers. Why Greek cinema the last 10 years producing year after year world-class short films? I mean, none of you, who you all are brilliant filmmakers, apart from Thanasis with his film, where this year in Drama Film Festival, but I can assure you there were, you know, the whole national competition was world-class short films, and some of them were like first-time filmmakers or first-time short filmmakers. What's the reason behind that? Can you just guide me into that? I mean, is it the producers? Is it the people who, like yourself? I mean, you can only talk about yourselves and your experience. So I will ask Thanasi first. Thanasi.
Sorry, I didn't hear my name.
Okay.
Well, this is a difficult question because, I mean, I can only comment on that on theory. I mean, just my theory, in my perspective, is it's that in Greece we have multicultural backgrounds, and we have multicultural elements that that blend and also have a great contrast. As I mean, a Greek filmmaker, a Greek artist, he also has a Balkan background, but also has a very Eastern background and feeling, and also a very West, let's say, a very
European.
European, yeah. So this contrast for me creates a very beautiful diversity, which you can maybe you can watch it on a narrative as a short film or a feature film or filmmaking. This is my theory. I don't know. This is my theory, my perspective.
Yeah. Konstantine, do you have any theory? You need to turn on your...
Yeah, there is always a theory, right? But I mean, indeed, it's interesting that there is what we call success in these past few years with Greek shorts, and they're indeed works that are very, very distinct and tasteful and idiosyncratic. And I mean, I've been thinking a little bit about Greek cinema in general, and I feel that my theory is that I think in a way storytelling, Greece doesn't have a big tradition in literature, and storytelling was a little bit idiosyncratic. I think we have a better grasp, for instance, of poetry as a culture, and of course we have there was no education there was very minimal education in cinema. There was a proper like a national university was created only not many years ago, which is great. I think it's crazy, but anyway, what I'm trying to say is that there's no form, in a way, both in storytelling in general and more specifically in film language. There's no shape that was given or a big tradition, and I think Greek filmmakers tended to be idiosyncratic, and I think this generation may be embracing this, and I feel that the films of all my colleagues here are very, they have something unique. They carry something unique as a voice in their way that they pick their themes and the way they explore them. And maybe, so idiosyncratic storytelling may be part of who we are here in Greece.
Brilliant, brilliant. Konstantina, what do you think? Do you have any theory?
Well, I mean, I kind of agree with Konstantinos, and I also think that, for example, I mean, judging from my experience, I feel that the new generation of the new generation of filmmakers somehow much more updated to the networking, to the marketing with abroad. I mean, I always like to say that when I started like doing short films, I really didn't have a clue what to do with my short films, and I kind of remember like burning DVDs and making like packs with collage, with personal collage, and send it to nowhere actually. So I kind of feel that now the new generations and the young filmmakers now are much more have much more knowledge to do that, and I mean they're much more updated to the marketing and the festivals. I mean, there is like a huge marketing now for short filmmakers, and there are so many talent campus that the Greek filmmakers can attend, and kind of learning how to do their network and how to actually find an access to the festivals, and yes, which is quite important and risky at the same time. I mean, it's always good and bad at the same time, because at this, I mean, I feel like kind of pressure that I have also to sell myself, and because I know that there is a market out there that I can reach. So, I mean, I think it has like both sides, like good side because we know how to sell ourselves, but at the same time, bad thing that we become sellers of ourselves, which it can be quite stressful and I don't know, like it takes a bit the magic of the filmmaker. But yes, I think that this is like a strong reason why the Greek cinema now is everywhere. And of course, I really sense that there's like much of talent. I mean, I feel that I think that there are unique voices, and it's not like one or two examples. I feel that there is a lot of young filmmakers that they do amazing things, and I really get surprised every year by filmmakers. So yes.
Great. Nicola?
I don't know, maybe the new generation has a big need to express themselves, and that they have good stories to tell. I think, and the film I have seen the couple of years, they dare to take risks. They take risks to when they're making or directing their films. So it's a difficult question, but I think it's and after when Lanthimos came with his films, maybe it put Greece on the map more, and people are more interesting of filmmakers in Greece. I don't know. In Sweden, they only know two Greeks directors. It's Lanthimos and Angelopoulos.
Mm-hmm. True. Theming?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things. There's a lot of talent. I watched Bella the other day. Was blown away. It's a beautiful film. I also think of what Nicolas Kolovos is true. I used to say that Dogtooth was like the 1987 Eurobasket win when Greece won the basketball championship in Europe. Next day, everyone was in the basketball courts playing basketball. I was one of those kids. So I think, yeah, Dogtooth did that in a way. It created a kind of excitement and renewal in the field. But it's not just that. We live at a time where we're not just Greek filmmakers, we are global filmmakers in a way. There is this exposure to, a global filmography that you can watch in cinema, in festivals, in retrospects, over the internet, over various shady services or not. But in a way, you can be self-educated as a director now. In the past, it was not so easy to do, I think. Tarantino is another great example. I know he's in the US and it was back then, but I think there are similarities in the two schemes.
Okay, so I will ask questions now to each individual so we can flow the conversation better. So Konstantina, talk to us about your background, how you go into filmmaking, if you study, other things you may do also, things that have shaped you and still shape you as a filmmaker.
Well, I grew up in Komotini, which is like a very small city, and I really didn't have any education about cinema. I mean, my family it's from totally like different environments, no arty thing behind, no arty background. And to tell you the truth, in the beginning, I studied pharmacy in Thessaloniki, and actually, at that time, when I was 18 years old, for me, art was no option. And when I went to Thessaloniki and I started watching films, and I started realizing that that there is like a whole world that exists that I didn't had any idea before, and at the same time, the National Film School started in Thessaloniki, and I felt that it was kind of a sign. And I gave the exams, and I went there. And since then, I really feel like that I found myself in this pathway that I chose. So yes, there was a moment in my life that actually I had to choose it. Before there was no option for me, and yeah, what else can I?
Great, and Thanasi, so when you write your movies, do you start from a character, an image, a location, a theme, a concept, a message, a piece of newspaper, maybe? Tell us how this process begin.
For me, I think it only begins from my personal experiences and my personal feelings about how I see the world, and maybe more my relationship with other people. I mean, like my relationship with my mother, my father, my boyfriend. So this is quite the themes that I am discovering and I want to express while I'm writing a new story.
Okay, and why do you make short films? I mean, what's your drive?
Why I make short films or why I make films? Because why I make short films?
Why you make films?
It's about the money. Not only, but I think because I was born as a gay person, as a queer character in a very conservative family. I found the power to escape and to create some other universes that I could escape from my personal universe. So I think that's why I started creating my stories, and I really was fun with filmmaking. Also, I was very fun watching films because I was somebody else and not Thanasis in my family, which they were very conservative.
Right. Okay, and Konstantine, what is your background? What makes you tick when you want to make a film? What is it you? Is it therapy? Is it what is it you go into? And tell us how the film influenced your life. I mean, I was saved from filmmaking.
You were saved?
Yes, films saved my life, actually. So, yeah.
That's that's interesting. So maybe you should also talk about this. Films have played. I mean, I know that films have also been not therapy, but I like to think a little bit of films like an experiment. A little like you have a question. Let's say you have a question and you explore this question. You go into a lab and you test it in different ways, hoping to get an answer. But I think that's how I do it, and it has. So there is a therapy aspect to it, and I think in the past, in past short films that were directly personal, even in its theme and in its characters, there was a lot of that. Recently, there is a line, I have to say this, there's a line from Woody Allen's Husbands and Wives. The last, I think, line in the film is Woody Allen, he's giving an interview, he's one of the characters, and he says, he's a writer, I think, or something, and he says, I'm tired of doing, love and personal stories. I'm going to do a political thing next. And I felt a little bit like that, just trying to take a distance from myself, at least thematically. And I found that in a way, if you're looking for some truth, you end up back to personal areas, and I think in a way, if there is one responsibility by the filmmaker, apart from being maybe entertaining a little bit, is to be honest and really strip in front of the audience somehow. I think that's what we like. I think that's what I like watching on screen, and I hope to do. And just maybe a last thing is, because you said, how does it inform your life? I have found in a way that when I'm writing something, it becomes, especially, it can become an obsession a little bit. It becomes a lens through which I see reality a little bit. So apart from just reading and watching films and art that is related to it, so already kind of approaching the art world through an idea that I have in my mind, I start seeing reality in a way through this. So exploring the questions that I'm working on, just seeing them in life. And so I think, writing or preparing a film can offer to a filmmaker, it can also be a lens to see from which to see reality in a way. And I find that engaging in my life, fulfilling somehow.
Great. And Nicola, I mean, we have the new Greek cinema. For me, started when Konstantinos Giannaris came to Greece and made his first film, and then for me, the whole thing changed thematically we had, we opened up, I mean, Kutra's film and Lanthimos and the rest of the generation who came in. I mean, you, how did you came into filmmaking? I mean, how was your, and how did you see all these movements in Greece?
As I said before, when I introduced myself, I was born in Sweden, and the first time I came to Greece with a film was in 2008 at the Drama Film Festival. I didn't know nothing about Greek films, but my producer sent it to Drama, a film who was called I Am Gay. And I went to Greece, and it was it felt like I was coming home. I've been to Greece every summer with my parents since I was a child, but when I came with a film and met all the people who was working with film, it was a fabulous experience for me. And I made a lot of friends there, and met a lot of people that I'm still working with. So that was my first contact with Greece in film. And I think Dogtooth came about 2008, 9, I don't, something like that.
Yes, yeah.
So the only films I have seen before it was films that my parents showed me on the video from the 60s and 70s and 80s. So I didn't know so much about these qualities in yeah. What was your next question?
Yeah, you are a sort of similar case like me. I mean, I came to Greece with a short film in 2006. So it was already, I could feel something was happening here. I worked in some feature films before with Greek filmmakers. From 2000, I did The King with Grammatikos. And so after many years in London, I realized working with Greek filmmakers and coming to Drama Film Festival, I realized there's something changed since the 80s. I left in the 80s. And obviously, the truth is that in early 2000, we were lacking structure. Maybe we're still lacking structure, but it's better. I mean, I could see films being produced, and I was doing my, I was thinking, oh my God, how do they make these movies here? I mean, they're all gonna get bankrupt, and it's like in the slaughterhouse. People would just sacrifice their fortunes and their personal time and everything. It was a lot of friends making films together, guerrilla filmmaking, and all that stuff. So I guess what I'm asking is that being abroad, how do you see this process of the last 10 years? I mean, probably you are part of it as well.
Yeah, but I've made 3 short films in Greece, and I've worked with a lot of different people in the teams and the producers, and I have learned other directors, and I'm very impressed and inspired by the films that are made in Greece. Once in a while, I show my Swedish friends I have in my home like this Greek evenings that I show them Greek films, short films and feature films, because most of the Greek films, unfortunately, they don't get distribution in Scandinavia. So I show them, look at this is very good, and they love it. And they call me sometimes now and say, when are you going to have next Greek film festival at your home? So I'm very inspired by all of these talented people in Greece, and they inspire me to make better films. Now I love to work in Greece with Greek teams, and the weather is good, of course. So yeah, I'm going to continue to do that, I think. My latest film, Index, who is a short, it's in Arabic, and I like to work with different languages. It's not a problem for me. My next film, who's going to be a feature, is in English, so I don't have a problem with the language. But I make film not because it's a therapy or something. It's completely because I want to tell a story.
Okay. So we move into a pre-submitted audience question from Natalia Papadakis from Athens, Greece, for Ephthimis. What is his relationship, Ephthimis' relationship, that is, with the region where the film was made, and how was it working with non-actors and your crew to achieve the naturalism in the film?
The last part about the naturalism, what was it?
How was it working with non-actors and your crew to achieve naturalism in the film?
Okay, so I was born on Lesbos Island. My parents and my sister still live there, so I go there often. And it was Easter. I didn't want to make another short, and I was invited to the house of the father of my sister's boyfriend. We had lunch, and he proposed to go on the roof of his house on a village in southern Lesbos and shoot a few rounds on the sky, some weapons. It's not something I'm used to doing. He told me he's a hunter. We went up. He shot a couple of rounds on the sky, and then the whole village started shooting. Which was quite fun. And then, yeah, we sat down and he began recounting tales of hunting. It was completely new to me. And there was this thing that got me, this idea of hunting organizations nurturing birds during the year, only to release them gradually before hunting season begins. And then they go out and hunt them. And I found this mind-blowing in a way, this whole cycle, this whole cycle of building and destruction that we also indulge in different ways. So I began a process of meeting other hunters, and quickly I wrote something. I couldn't resist, and I wanted to shoot it. And I've worked with non-actors many times in films prior to this. I like to mix it up, to use actors and non-actors together, or just non-actors. It's the whole thing about getting this naturalism out of them. I think it's during the casting process. You have to be very right on who you choose, who you match them with, and what do you do with them during shooting. But other than that, I don't know. It comes very natural to me. You're just being a good friend to them during shooting. Sometimes we have a little alcohol and some scenes to relax, and it works out.
Great, thank you. This is unfortunately our last question. Basically, I'm going to go around again and ask you the same question. Just a comment about your next project. If you're planning to make a feature film, do you have any fears or thoughts about making some of you the jump to from short films to feature films? I start from Thanasi. What's your next project? Well, what do you have any?
I have a short film that I really want to shoot, and it will complete my trilogy of Patission Avenue and Route 3. It's gonna be now on the air in an airplane, and I am working on my feature film for the last 5 years, but now COVID came, so I don't know where I'm gonna shoot it, but the working title is Peter and the Wolf, and it's a coming of age Greek tragedy. It's about me and my whole storyline, whatever. But I hope to make it as soon as possible. But also I hope to make it with open cinemas. I really, really don't want to make this film and to be presented somewhere online, or even worse, like this this joke that Cannes did this year, like they announced the list of participants, but they never show the films. So I really, really want to my film to be presented in the cinema.
Okay. Konstantine, thank you, Thanasi. Konstantine, what's your next project? What is your?
I'm preparing a short film and a feature film, I guess, that's going to take longer, that both take place in the Byzantine times, in the medieval times, but they are really the opposite of a historical epic. They're very minimalist. One is a minimalist Byzantine buddy movie. The other one is like a reverse road movie of a man who's stuck in one place. Yeah, I think I've become interested in exploring, in looking really back into history as a way to talk about, I guess, reality nowadays, our own reality, and using the past as a grotesque mirror in a way.
Right. Thank you, Konstantina. Konstantina, tell us your pitch.
My next film is a medium length, as I told you in the beginning. It's a medium length. It's a strange love story on a cruise ship, and the idea came within the COVID, and because I was just reading all these cruise ships that were going to disappear in a way, and I mean, a lot of companies started like crashing around the ships and selling them in pieces. And I felt that it would be really nice to have like a strange story on a cruise ship. and it's a medium-length film. I had doing Electric Swan, which is again a medium-length film. I felt pretty nice and comfortable in this format, and I really felt like expressing myself. So yes, I'm doing again a medium length, and Back in the Horizon is my feature film project, and which is kind of expensive feature film. So in the meanwhile, I have a lot of time to do many shorts and medium length films. And yeah, it's a feature film about professional mermaid schools, which is quite a trend in Asia, and the film starts as something quite realistic, and then it evolves like into a crazy thing. So yeah, this is my pitch.
I trust you completely to make a great film next time around. Thank you for stepping up. Nicola?
Yes.
What is your next project? What's your plans?
I'm working with two projects, with a TV serial and a feature film.
Do you want to tell us a bit more? Or you don't want to tell us? Or
no, I can tell you. The serial is about a Greek family here in Sweden, and the feature is about a Greek man in Greece. No, it's
that's something.
I call it a philosophical drama comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Efthimi?
Hi there. Well, most of my time is devoured by this huge thing, a feature film that I'm developing since some time now. I think we're in our final stages of script writing. It's called That Burning Light. It's a story. It's something that we have been developing in the Torino Feature Lab and the Oxbelly. And it's about a man, a central character, his father, and the woman that he meets. And it also starts really banal, like all of my films do. And it climaxes very wildly, but low key. I hope to keep it low key. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I can say for now.
All right. Thank you very much. That was great. We could talk more. That was the only time we had, though. And I will pass it to Los Angeles Greek Film Festival to carry on this podcast, this webinar.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Yanni, so much. I'm so sad that this is all the time we have. I wish we had 2 more hours. But it was very refreshing to get to have all of you and see you and hear you. I wish it made me really sad that we don't have the live festival to have you here. And also it was nice to hear all the future projects, because I run IPDF, that we're always, usually our main focus is to talk about the next projects, and it made me miss it this year. But maybe in June, we'll manage to have a physical edition of the festival, hopefully. And I want to thank you so much to all the filmmakers, and Yannis, thank you so much for jumping in. After, I know you were exhausted after your festival and all the work you put together with Anasis, of course. Thank you, guys. And I want to also address our audience and to remind you that to join us for all the upcoming events. And our next event is tomorrow, the same time, where we have a conversation with the cast and crew of Ευτυχία. And it's gonna be a lot of people attending. We're very excited about it. A lot of the cast members. So I hope we see you tomorrow. And Sunday we have a Q&A with Sidas Tumerkas, the director of Miracle of the Sargasso Sea, moderated by Argyris Papadimitriopoulos. And next week we have the master classes with Nia Vardados, Jim Giannopoulos, and Greg Gutierrez. So don't miss out on any of them. And thank you, everyone, and goodbye. See you.
Sounds fantastic.
Thank you.